The fourth part of the Sutta Pitaka is known as the Anguttara Nikaya. Although the text of the Anguttara Nikaya mentions that it consists of 9,557 suttas, most of these suttas are mere repetitions with a new word added here and there. The number of suttas being distinctive in character is only between about 1,000 to 2,500. Majority of these suttas are short, some being very short, though there are some suttas of sizable length. The fifth portion of the Sutta Pitaka is known as the Khuddaka Nikaya. The Khuddaka Nikaya, a miscellaneous collection of works in prose and verse, consists of Khuddaka Dhampad, Udan, Ittivutak, Suttanipat, Vimanvattu, Petvattu, Thergatha, Therigatha, Jatak, Niddes, Padisambhida Magg, Abdan, Buddhavansh, and Charyapitak. So the major portion of the Khuddaka Nikaya of consisting of these 15-16 texts is in verse and contains nearly all the important works of Buddhist poetry. The shortest of its texts is the Khuddaka Path, which consists of less than 10 printed pages, whereas the Jatak is over 100 times as bigger. The first text, the Khuddaka Path, this is the first text of the Khuddaka Nikaya, the Khuddaka Path, that is, it is a collection of 9 short texts found elsewhere in the canon. A prospective monk is expected to know all of these more than any other, as they are used as some sort of prayers or mantras. Dhampad, like the Bhagavad Gita of the Brahmanical Hindus, is a very popular Buddhist text. It consists of 423 melodious verses gathered from different sources, which are put together into 26 vaggas, that is chapters. More than half of the verses of the Dhampad can be found in other canonical texts. The next text of the Khuddaka Nikaya is the Udan. The Udan, which consists of verses with stories appended to these verses, consists of 8 vaggas, each of which contains 10 suttas. These suttas are short stories which refer to some incident of the Buddha's time and end with the pronouncement of the Buddha. Several of these suttas can be traced in the Vinaya Pitaka, and though it may be difficult to say as to who borrowed from whom, it seems quite probable that both the texts borrowed the suttas directly from the great body of oral material which must have existed in the early days of Buddhism. The next text, the fourth book of the Sutta Pitaka, is called Ittivutak. Ittivutak, like the Udan, also consists of verses and prose put together in 112 short stories. But unlike the Udan, in it we do not have any narrative prose, but the different ideas being delivered partly in verse and partly in prose. The Suttanipat, which is the fifth book of the Khuddaka Nikaya, is not only one of the oldest collections of Buddhist discourses in the PALI Tripitaka, but is also one of the most popular texts of Theravada Buddhism. The Suttanipat offers valuable information on the nature of the earliest form of Buddhism. In it, for instance, can be seen not only the Sangha in its youngest days, but also the lives of monks and nuns in their pristine phase. The Suttanipat mainly focuses on the nature and qualities of saints and shows through the description of the spiritual qualities as to how by practicing them one may be able to develop oneself into a saint. The Vimanvattu and the Petvattu, these two texts, there's number 6 and 7 in the Sutta Pitaka, they are the youngest layers of the PALI Tripitaka. The Vimanvattu, an anthology of 85 short stories written in verse, explains the popular Buddhist doctrine of karma by describing the life and deeds of different characters, each of whom has attained residence in a heavenly mansion, Viman, due to his or her meritorious deeds. Similarly, the Petvattu, composed of 51 verse narratives, explains the doctrine of karma as to how the retribution of bad deeds can lead to rebirth in the unhappy world of Petas, ghosts. The Thergat Gatha and the Theri Gatha are the 8th and the 9th books respectively of the Khuddaka Nikaya. The short poems of the Ther Gatha were apparently narrated by early members of the Buddhist Sangha. Whereas some of these poems contain biographies of the Theras, there are some others which are paeans to the newly discovered freedom, joyfulness and solitude by these Theras. The Therigatha consists of 73 short poems apparently uttered by early members of the Sangha. The importance of the Therigatha lies in the fact that this is the first surviving poetry supposed to have been composed by women in India. As the Gathas of the Therigatha and Therigatha are utterances of nuns and monks, these two texts cannot be thought of as Buddhavachan. The importance of the Therigatha and the Therigatha lies in the fact that their gathas provide an exclusive glimpse into very early Indian poetry which is otherwise entirely lost. The 10th book of the Khuddaka Nikaya is the Jatak book. The Jatak book consists of 547 tales of the former births of Shakyamuni Buddha. The philosophy of the Jatakas is based upon the Buddhist doctrine of karma and rebirth, in which the quintessential and exemplary character is the Bodhisattva, in Sanskrit Bodhisattva, who in all his lives exhibits one or more of the great merits with which he earns merit and prepares himself to become a Buddha in the future. A lengthy introduction to the Jatak is called the Nidan Katha, in which the biography of the Shakyamuni Buddha is given in prose, intermingled here and there with gathas. These gathas have largely been borrowed from the Buddhavansh. In whatever form, a deva, as a man, as an animal, as a fairy, as a sprite, or as a mythical character, the Bodhisattva appears in each of these stories. He is always of the male gender, who divulges one or more virtues that each of the stories thereby imparts. The 12th text of the Khuddaka Nikaya is called the Patisamhita Magga. The Patisamhita Magga consists of 3 sections, each section containing 10 treatises on an important aspect of Buddhavachan. The subjects are treated in the question-answer format. The 13th book of the Khuddaka Nikaya is the Abdan. The Abdan, though less useful, is like the Jatakas. Since it connects together the past and present lives of the Theras and the Theris, it appears to be an appendix to the Jatakas. It is certainly one of the very latest books of the Khuddaka Nikaya, if not of the Pali canon as a whole itself.